Hello and welcome back to Mad K Beauty. Today I have a different video for you. This is my MS diagnosis story. MS being multiple sclerosis, so if you want to listen to this then keep on watching. So when I was first diagnosed with MS, obviously the doctors all said don't look at anything you read online, hear it straight from us, and so I thought, right, if I'm not going to research, if I'm not going to look up facts about MS, multiple sclerosis, then what do I love to do? I love to watch YouTube. So I popped onto YouTube and I watched people's diagnosis story and see how they're doing now. So I thought if I explain my story, that it might help some other people with their diagnosis and their understanding it, because obviously every single person with MS is different. Everyone has a different MS, everyone has a different story leading up to being diagnosed. So for me, I had a couple of little things that happened before I was diagnosed. I'd say at least 5 years before I was diagnosed, there were little things, like for instance I walked to and from school every day and I had this really tightness in my left knee. I thought, this can't be normal, I'm walking to and from school every day, it's not muscle. So my doctor sent me to get an x-ray. Obviously an x-ray shows the tissue and it shows the bones. They said, no, it's all clear, you're stressed. And so they put it to stress. And so once that happened, they put it to stress, I moved on. And then once the doctor had said it's stress, it's normal, I think a lot of other things I put to stress, a lot of other symptoms I sort of just waved off saying it's stress, don't worry about it, it's normal. Another thing is balance. So for a while now, it's kind of a running joke with me and my mum where I would be walking and I don't walk straight, like my balance is off, and so I'd walk like at an angle and mum would be like, oh, walk straight, like haha. But that was also an MS thing, is balance. So that's another one. And then the most recent one, which led up to the diagnosis, was about January 2017. I started feeling really tired and my left knee was sore again, it felt tight, and then all of a sudden I noticed my left arm and left hand were also feeling tight and it made it difficult to use. So I was also very dizzy, I was walking funny. I went to the emergency department and they looked over me and said, okay, it's scurvy. So it's like seasickness, but when you're on land, I believe. So he gave me seasickness tablets. Cool. I took them and another 4 weeks went by and it got worse. The point where I drew the line in the sand was when I was at work and I was trying to type and I could not type a thing. And I work in like admin, and so when I was trying to type, you know, that's what you do for the job. And then I tried to pick up to the pencil to write and I couldn't. And I called my mum and I said to my boss, I'm like, look, I can't do this. So we go from there, I go home, I have a shower, and I couldn't reach up to reach the shampoo on the top of the shower. So at that point, me and my mum were like, right, let's go to the emergency again. And it took the right people at the right time to say, we need to get you into an MRI. And so an MRI screening obviously shows up the lesions, which is multiple sclerosis, multiple lesions on my spine and my brain. So yeah, I felt really bad at the time, but when I had all the scans and everything and I was waiting in the room, the doctor came in and sat me down and said, all right, I don't know how to tell you this, but you've got multiple sclerosis. And honestly, I at that point, I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of it. It didn't come up anywhere. None of my relatives had it. So I was sort of just stunned. I looked at my mum and I knew she could tell. I didn't know what that was. So being told you have something that you've never heard of is quite scary. It's quite scary. So here I am today, 1 year later. That whole really difficult part last year went from about January to April 2017, being diagnosed in April. And so now we're like a year and a bit on, and here I am. So I got put onto a trial and it's going really, really well. My last 2 MRIs have come up clear, so I'm tracking on really well. I thought I'd finish off this video with some of my tips, because like, you know, you figure things out as you go, but I thought if I can help anyone in any way, that'd be pretty cool. So for me, coming into this, I hated needles, and now I'm really good with needles. And so obviously with multiple sclerosis, when you get an MRI, you have to get a dye in an IV put in so they can get all the imaging. And so for that, obviously you can't have metal parts on your body. And so what I do is, instead of getting changed into their scratchy blue scrub things, I wear comfy clothes. I go in without a bra, in sweatpants and a top and comfy shoes, and that way I can say I've got no metal on me, I don't need to change, I'll just go in like this. So that way it's not, it makes it feel more familiar, more comfy, and it makes it easier. I am comfortable with MRIs now. Another thing is obviously there are lots of treatments out there, and your neurologist will sort that out for you. It's something that obviously they'll weigh up with your MS, how severe it is, what works best for you. And so for me, I have to get lots of blood tests and stuff. And so what I do is get to know your body, get to know which veins work for you. I know I have one here, which has a bruise, and I have one in the middle there. I've got 2 good veins, and I know where they are. I can point them out. I can say, look, I know you can feel around, I trust you, but this is what I know works for me. So having that knowledge gives you a bit of power, gives you a bit of, I know what I'm doing. And so finding the right support for you is great as well. Finding out MS clinics. So for Australia, there's MS Australia, and I live in Queensland, so MS Queensland is also another point of contact. I also have an MS nurse, and she's lovely, and it's great to bounce things off her. Like for instance, recently I had a stomach bug, and before the actual stomach bug came, I had lost a bit of sensation in my left arm and my left leg, and so I was a bit worried, is this a relapse? What's happening? I messaged her, she got my bloods done, figured out it was a virus. So obviously having a support team there, so when you've got questions, when you're worried, when you're concerned, someone to just bounce those things off of is something that I really value. So getting the right support team in place. So obviously, please note, I am not an expert at MS. I have not done all the research. I am just going from my own knowledge, from my own experience. If you've got any questions or anything, you can pop them in the down bar. I'll do my best. But yeah, I just thought this would give someone a bit of comfort after even just at the point of diagnosis, because I know that was me scrambling around on YouTube, seeing how people are going now, seeing how they're surviving, because obviously MS is a non-curable disease. It's a chronic disease. The only one thing that I haven't got under wraps yet is fatigue. Fatigue really hits me hard. At work, it's fine. On the weekends, I've really got to balance what I do when I prioritise certain events over other events, just because I do run out of energy really, really fast. Like when I get at home from work, I used to take my dog for a walk. Cue sleeping dog. And I just don't do that much. And I really want to. And it's something I'm going to try and figure out. That's it for now, lovelies. Stay positive, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.